Okay, so I think let's wait for your classmates. Wala pa rin sila. Let's wait for another 5 minutes, I think. Okay, I think we can start. Okay, so we're done with chapter 5, analysis and interpretation of financial statements, and then accounting books and journal ledger. So now we need to discuss basic documents and transaction related to bank deposits. So since like even your classmates, so what we need to do is, ayun, i-send ko na lang yung video. But we'll record this one.
Good day, everyone. So for today, we're going to discuss Chapter 7 of Fundamentals of Accountancy, Business and Management 2. Basic documents and transactions related to bank deposits. Okay, so at the end of this discussion, we should be able to identify the types of bank accounts normally maintained by a business, and then we should be able to differentiate a savings account from a current or checking account, and then prepare bank deposit and withdrawal slips, identify and prepare checks, and then identify and understand the content of bank statement. Okay, so before we proceed to our lesson, you can answer these following questions as a review for chapter 6, which is the book of accounts. So you can test yourself if you have understood and be familiarized or be familiar or familiarize yourself from last chapter. Okay, so number 1, means of accumulating in one place all the information about changes in asset, liability, equity, income, and expense accounts. So anong book kaya yun? Designed to record a particular type of transaction efficiently and quickly. Ayun. So anong book? Anong book din kaya yun, no? Particular type of transaction. And the number 3, process of recording a transaction. And then number 4 is used to record all cash that had been received. Okay, anong book naman din yun? And number 5 is used to record all purchases of inventory on credit. Okay? So ano kayang book yon? And then number 6 is used to record all transactions involving cash payments. Number 7 is used to record all sales on credit. Number 8 provides a chronological record of all the financial events in the business over time. And the number 9, an entry that requires 3 or more accounts. Okay, and then number 10, normal balance of revenue. Okay, so actually we have 3 types of bank accounts, no? And then First is the saving accounts, current or checking account, and then time deposit. So a bank account represents funds entrusted by a depositor to a bank for safekeeping. So we have three basic types of bank accounts. And again, savings, current or checking, and then time deposit. So for the saving accounts, these are intended to provide an incentive for the depositor to save money, and then the depositor can make deposits and withdrawals using the form provided by the bank. Okay, so actually parang ngayon ata pwede na tayong gumamit ng ATM machine or mag-bank to bank. Ayan, using our saving accounts. Banks usually pay an interest rate that is higher than a checking account or a current account. Okay, so however, banks are constantly coming up with new products. So there are actually a wide variety of bank accounts. So many of which are just variation of the foregoing basic types of accounts. So we have again the first saving accounts. So saving account is a bank account that earns modest interest rate, no? So yon, pag nag-save tayo, nilalagyan din yun ni bank, meron tayong interest income, pero actually maliit lang yon. Pero kung syempre kung malaki yung savings mo, mas malaki yung interest. Yan. And also, it is intended to encourage saving. So, yung interest na binibigay ng bangko, ayan, ina-encourage tayo na mag-save sa kanila, no? So, a savings account is normally evidenced by a passbook. Ayan, so siguro kung um, kung yung parents nyo, di ba, nag-save, aside from ATM, ayan, siguro passbook. Ayan, so some savings accounts have passbook in which transactions are logged in a small booklet that the depositor keeps. So, ayun, as a part of your activity, mas better na mag-collect din kayo ng mga types of savings accounts. So, especially yung passbook, pwede kayo mag-take ng picture ng passbook, no? Kahit walang laman yung passbook or walang balance, no, for just to be familiar with the content of the passbook, kung ano ba yung mga laman nun. Okay, so the passbook shows depositors deposits and withdrawals, so the amount of interest earned by deposit and the balance of the account. So minsan yung mga service charge din, andito din. Ayan, some savings accounts charge a fee if the balance falls below the specified minimum. So pag mas mababa sa minimum balance yung laman ng bank natin, ng savings account natin, nagkakaroon ng mga bank charges. So the depositor may also opt to receive an automatic teller machine, yung tinatawag nating ATM. So aside from the passbook, or together with the passbook, pwede naman siyang savings account and at the same time may ATM ka, no? Pero same lang ng account yun. Siyempre para lang na meron kang passbook, para makita mo lang yung naging records ng withdrawals mo and then yung deposit mo, better din na may passbook ka. And aside from passbook, pwede ka rin magkaroon ng ATM. Pero mali mo, pero pwede siyang iisang account lang. Or pwede rin namang ATM lang, tapos wala kang passbook. Okay? So an ATM card is a plastic card used to withdraw money from an ATM. Yan. From an ATM that can be used as debit card. Yan. So yung mga ATM natin na savings account, ayun yung tinatawag na debit card. Meaning you can use it to pay at electronic And you can use a debit card to pay for groceries by swiping the card just like credit card. Pero pag ATM kasi kailangan ng password or PIN code. The difference is that in a debit card, you are using your own funds, while in a credit card, nangungutang tayo sa bangko. Interest on savings deposit is accrued daily based on end of day balance, but is reflected on the account at the end of every quarter. So yun, actually nag-accumulate yung interest natin day to day. Pero nagre-reflect lang siya sa account natin. Minsan quarter, minsan naman monthly, no? Depende siguro sa bangko. Yan. So, also, yan, at the end of the year, lalo na pag mga submission na rin ng mga tax, the interest earned is reduced by a 20% withholding tax. So, yung na-accumulate din nating income, yung 20% no, napupunta din siya sa tax. Opening a bank account requires a face-to-face contact between the bank's authorized representative and the depositor. And the minimum requirements you must have, or you must submit, or at least provide two valid IDs and the initial amount of deposit. Pero minsan meron namang mga ano naman, baka pwede ka mag-open ng account and then kahit walang deposit pwede. Siguro pag mga students ata. Pero normally talaga kailangan ng ng deposit. Siguro depende sa card. Ayun. And the additional requirement may be required, no, such as copies of 2x2 or 1x1 photos, billing statement, yan, para lang ma-assure na para ma-assure lang ng banks na tama yung mga information din na nilagay mo. So, kailangan ng and existing nga talaga yung yung identity mo. Kaya minsan kailangan ng mga additional pang requirements. Yan. For checking or current accounts, money held under a checking account can be withdrawn through issuance of check. And then banks usually allows numerous withdrawals and unlimited deposit under this type of account. And the interest rate for checking account is usually lower as compared to a savings account. Okay, so current or checking account, a bank account wherein the depositor can write checks. Alam niyo yung parang, ayun, yung mga cheque na pwedeng sulatan and then pwede mong i-convert yun sa cash pag nasa bangko ka na. Yan. So a check is an instrument that orders a bank, the drawee, to pay the person named on the check or the bearer thereof, yan, or the payee, a definite amount of the money from the drawer's bank account. Pero dapat yung account na pag-withdrawhan natin dapat may laman, or else magbabounce yon, yan, bouncing check, and then pwede kang patawan ng penalty or charges. So a current or checking account can be either of the following: basic checking account, yan, usually do not pay interest, and we can have interest-bearing checking account, pay interest, just like savings account. So meron tayong dalawang type ng checking account. Yung basic and then yung interest-bearing checking account. So the account holder of the depositor of a checking account is normally provided at the end of the month a bank statement showing all the deposits made, checks paid by the bank, and the balance of the account. So pwede itong through email or pwede naman letter. The depositor is given easy access to the funds as compared to a savings account. Okay, no? So, for checking account, instead of passbook or, ayan, we can have the checkbook, no? Ayun, so, ang pinagkaiba lang nun, ang passbook kasi, ayun yung pinapresent mo sa bank pag gusto mo mag-withdraw. While yung checkbook naman, pipilas ka lang ng isang papel doon or isang piraso ng check. And then, susulatan at pipirmahan yun nung may-ari ng bank, nung checking account. And then, pwede na yun i-withdraw. Yan. So, checkbooks are not free do. Yun. So, pag nagre-request tayo ng checkbooks, may bayad din yun. The bank charges the depositor for every checkbook requested from the bank. So, some checking accounts, however, come with either an ATM or a passbook, or both. Yan. So, for the time deposit naman, yan. So, time deposit or certificate of deposit account, type of savings account that is held for a fixed term that can be withdrawn only after the lapse of the agreed period and by notice to the bank. May be withdrawn also anytime. However, the bank usually charges penalties. Yield high interest. Okay? So, ito naman yung klase ng savings. Parang savings din naman siya, pero hindi tayo pwedeng mag-withdraw basta-basta na lang na anytime kung kailan natin gusto. So, meron tong fixed term kung kailan lang natin siya pwedeng i-withdraw. Ayun, kaya siya merong mas mataas na interest income. No, kasi parang hinuhold to ng bank. Yan. So, again, time deposit or the certificate of deposit or term deposit refers to an interest-bearing fund maintained at a bank for a fixed period of time. So, pwedeng 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or etc. And a time deposit is similar to a savings account, but it earns higher interest. Yun nga, moreover, a time deposit is denominated in fixed amount and normally cannot be withdrawn until its maturity date. A time deposit is evidenced by a certificate of time deposits. Ayan. So, mas malaki yung interest income niya, but yun nga, hindi natin siya basta-basta withdraw. Hintay natin siyang mag-mature. Ayan. So, ito naman, yung amount na kailangan mong i-deposit, depende to sa bangko, no? Kung ano yung mga pwede nilang i-offer. So, pag interested tayo sa mga time deposit, pwede tayong mag-inquire. Yan, lalo na pag, kunyari, hindi nyo naman kailangan ng money, pero gusto nyo magkaroon ng interest yon. Pero at the same time, sobrang busy mo para ipasok siya sa isang business or sa mga stocks. Yan, kasi pag stocks kasi, ano pa rin kailangan mo siyang i-monitor. Pero pag time deposit, ayan, parang instead na ilagay mo siya sa alkansya na natutulog lang yung pera mo, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa time deposit. Ayan. So, we can search an example of time deposit na ino-offer ng mga bangko. For example, mga BPI, ayan, mga Metropolitan Bank and Trust Company or the Metro Bank. Pwede natin i-check yon. Yan, and then mga land bank, mga BDO, pwede natin i-check kung mga magkano ba yung mga in-offer nila or yung product nila about sa time deposit. Yan, so we also have the ATM machine just like the savings account. Yun nga lang ito, para siyang plastic na maliit lang, parang card. Ayan, na nag-serve din as debit card natin. dapat may laman to bago natin mag-withdraw or else hindi tayo makaka-withdraw. And also, parang nire-require din to ng minimum deposit. So, depende pa rin sa bangko. And depende rin sa card mo. Kasi, di ba, minsan may mga card na rin ngayon na classic, tapos gold, black. So, parang katulad din siya ng na credit card. Sa ATM, parang may ganun din siya. Siguro, yung interest nagkakatalo. Yeah, so the bank will require individuals certain documents such as valid identification card and will ask to fill up the forms prepared by the bank. So kung meron man sa inyo may mga ATM card na, mga passbook, ayan, bago tayo makapag-open ng mga bank account natin, ayan, meron tayong mga pinifill up na forms and then merong mga IDs na kailangan. And upon approval of the application to open an account, the bank will give the depositor his account number. So parang ngayon pag nagpapa-open tayo ng account, actually pwede na nga tayo mag-open ng account through online, lalo na ngayon this pandemic. So parang gumawa na ng paraan ang bangko para makapag-open tayo ng account and at the same time magkaroon tayo ng mga bank-to-bank transaction like paying our expenses, mga utilities natin, and etc. Yan. So upon opening the account, pag na-approve na yon, normally 3 to 7 days. Yan. So depende rin sa background mo kasi minsan background check din sila. Yan. So at after 3 days or 7 days, pwede nang i-provide sa'yo yung card mo and then yung account number mo. Pwede naman tong through email, no? Okay. So, written orders to the bank used to put in the money to depositor's account. And then, information to be written in a deposit account. And for example, yung account name natin. So, dapat yung nasa ID natin, match siya sa account number natin. No? Kasi minsan pag nag-withdraw tayo, lalo na pag passbook, kailangan ng ID. Ayan, dapat match yung account name natin sa sa account name na ilalagay natin. Account number, actually ito, pinoprovide na to ng bangko. And this is a unique identifier of the account maintained by the depositor. Date of deposit, and then type of account. Yeah. Information to be written in deposit, yung currency. Ayan, lalo na pag mag-deposit tayo. Ayan. Yung currency, dollar, tapos yung number ng ng denomination na yon. And then, yung total amount. Yan. Amount in words and in figures. Lalo na pag sa mga check. Ayan. Kailangan naka-words din siya and at the same time naka-in figures din. And the amount that the depositor wishes to provide or to put into his account, the amount to be deposited may in the form of cash or check. Yan. Pag check, kailangan naka-in words din siya. Kasi parang control din siya para hindi madagdagan yung zero or dagdagan yung first number. Ayun. If it is a cash deposit, the breakdown of the cash is usually listed in the deposit. Ngayari, ilang 100, ilang 500, ilang tigwa 20, ilang tigwa 1,000. Okay, and then ito total din natin yun. If it is a check deposit, the details of the checks are indicated in the deposit slip. For example, issuing bank, address of the issuing bank, date of the check of the amount, yung mga branch, ganyan. And so here's the sample of bank deposit slip. Yan, for the BDO. Ayan, lalo na, siguro familiar na kayo, lalo na pag inuutusan kayo ng mommy nyo, ng parents nyo na mag-deposit. Ayan, so ito yung mga pipil upan natin. Yan, for the Metro Bank, ito naman yung example. Ayan, so for withdrawal slip, parang din siyang katulad lang din ng bank deposit. Okay, so yun nga lang, itong withdrawal slip, minsan kailangan din ng ID. Ayan. Yan, signature of the depositor. Ayan, dapat kailangan digit yung yung signature nung pag-withdrawhan ng account. Yan. So this is the most important part of the withdrawal slip. The signature is proof that the depositor is authorizing the bank to get money from his account. Usually, the bank compares the signature in the withdrawal slip against the signature in the bank record submitted during the opening of the account. So there are instances that the depositor cannot attend personally to withdraw the funds. He may authorize a representative by indicating the name of the representative in the space provided, and the representative must sign. There is a need for a representative to bring a valid identification card upon withdrawal. Otherwise, the bank will not approve the withdrawal. Yan. Lalo na pag mga passbook, mas mahigpit sila. Kailangan meron tayong authorization letter, pwede din. And then, pag mga withdrawal slip naman, may pirma, and at the same time, sinusulat kung sino yung mag-withdraw or kung kanino ibibigay yung pera. And kailangan meron kang identification card. Mas better kung medyo kamag-anak mo. Mas mabilis na na-approve yun. So, here's the sample of BDO withdrawal slip. Ayan, so, anong klaseng account yung pag-withdrawhan natin? Pwede naman siyang savings, pwede naman galing sa current. Ayan. And then the account name, this can be your name or the business name or the company name. And so, for example, Ricardo Dalisay, and for the example naman ng business, Pinoy Enterprises, and then Pinoy Incorporated. And this can be 10-digit or 12-digit bank account. Yan. And then, ilalagay natin yung amount you want to withdraw in words. So, itong 5,000, dito sa amount in words, i-spell natin. Okay? So, tas lalagyan natin ng only sa dulo. Kasi, merong instances na pwede siyang dugain, parang ganun. Kaya, lalagyan natin ng only. And also, dapat yung 5, yung F niyan, nasa pinaka-start talaga. Kasi pwede kasi siyang dagdagan ng words para madagdagan yung amount. Kaya ganun. Yan. Also, the signature of the account holder or yung depositor. And if your representative withdraws the money, write also your signature here. Yan. Name of the representative kasi hindi mag-withdraw, and then yung signature. Yan, dito naman, teller yung magsusulat. Yan, same lang din from the other banks. Ganun lang din yung itsura niya. Yan, sa Metro Bank, ayan. Example naman sa Land Bank. Yan, document that orders. Ayan, check. About check naman, document that orders a bank to pay a specific amount of money from a person's account to the person in whose name the check has been issued. Type of bill of exchange or and were developed as a way to make payments without the need to carry large amounts of money. Yan, lalo na pag mga takot tayong magdala ng pera, malaking pera. Yan, lalo na pag sobrang laki nga ng perang kailangan natin i-withdraw, check na lang yung ginagamit or pinambabayad. The person writing the check, the drawer, has a transaction banking account where his money is held. The drawer writes the various details, including the monetary amount, date, and the payee on the check, and signs it, ordering his bank knowing as a drawee to pay that person or company the amount of money stated. The check number is usually indicated in the upper right portion of the check. The following are the parties involved in a transaction that uses check as a medium of exchange. Drawer, the person or entity who makes the check. Payee, the recipient of the money. Drawee, the bank or the other financial institution where the check can be presented for payment. So here are the samples of check. So kung yung parents na may checkbook, ayan, pwede yung picturean or yan, i ano nyo, i-observe nyo. Yan, para maging familiar din kayo. Especially for those who are aspiring bank tellers or yan, mga gusto mag-work sa banks. Cross-check, it is a mark to specify an instruction about the way it is to be redeemed. A common instruction is to specify that it must be deposited directly to an account of the payee. It is usually done by writing two parallel lines on the upper left portion of the check. The cross-check cannot be encashed over the counter by the payee. It should be deposited to the payee's account. Yun. Minsan, actually parang hindi natin to nagagawa yung cross-check. Pero yun, minsan ginagawa na lang din to ng teller, lalo na pag yung check na binigay sa atin, gusto lang natin na i-deposit na lang sa other account. Instead of i-encash natin siya. And so again, here's the sample of check. Yan, so stale check. A check which a bank will not accept and exchange for money or payment because it was written more than a certain number of months ago. Ayun. So in the Philippines, a check becomes stale if it exceeds 6 months from the date of the check. So yun, kung binigyan tayo ng check, tapos hindi natin na withdraw or na deposit to other account, tapos 6 months na siya, more than 6 months na siya, so hindi na natin siya mawi-withdraw. Okay? So, dapat within 6 months, lahat ng mga binibigay sa ating check, i-withdraw natin or i-encash natin or i-transfer natin to other account. Yan. So, bank statement shows the movement of the account. Contain all the withdrawals, deposit, and balance of your account after every transaction. May also indicate bank charges that were deducted by bank automatically. Interest earned by the account is likewise reflected. Okay, so here is an example of bank statement. Yan. Pwede natin itong makita din sa mga passbook natin. And then, pwede rin naman siyang i-request online. And then, pwede tayong pumunta sa sa bank and mag-request tayo ng bank statement. Pero normally, ang nag-request nito dapat yung depositor or yung may-ari ng account. Hindi kasi siya basta-basta ba din ibigay kahit na kamag-anak ka pa. Ayun. So, here are the things that we need to check. Yan, pag sa mga bank statement. Yung date column, check number, transaction code, debit column, credit column, and then balance column. And samples of debit transaction, bank service charge, yan, monthly fee charged by the bank for its service, like cost of printing check, writing funds to other locations, and other fees. NSF, non-sufficient fund. Ito, charges din to, lalo na pag hindi natin parang pag may nagwi-withdraw sa atin, like pag check, ayan, ayun, nagkakaroon tayo ng charges. Banks also use a debit memorandum when a deposited check check from a customer bounces. Yan, pag na-bounce yung check natin, wala pa lang naman yun, and then dineposit natin, pwede tayong magkaroon um, ng NSF charges or bank charges din. Nowadays, bank refer to this as DAIF, drawn against insufficient fund, or DAUD, draw against uncleared deposits. Samples of credit transactions, collections of cash proceeds from notes receivable, and then interest income earned by the deposit. Okay, so for chapter 7, ayan, ano lang naman tayo, puro theoretical. So, ayan. And reminders din, pag nag-withdraw din tayo at nag-deposit, pag nag-fill up tayo ng form, make sure na walang erasure. Ayan, walang ano. Kung hindi, papaulit siguro sa atin ng mga bank tellers. Ayan, or papapirmahin. Pero, normally, pag ganun, lalo na pag may mga nag-audit sa kanila, hindi nila tinatanggap. Lalo na pag mga check, yan, tapos pang passbook. Medyo mahigpit sila doon. So again, to summarize the lesson, again, we have 3 basic types of bank accounts: the savings account, the current or checking account, and then time deposit. And then savings account is one intended to encourage savings. You cannot write checks from a savings account kasi mag-iibang bank accounts yon. Yan, current and checking account, yan, yung pwede natin sulatan. Time deposit is a fund maintained with a bank that earns higher interest compared to a savings account, but with a fixed term. The following are the 3 parties in a check, and the drawer, the payee, and the drawee. Okay, so for your activity for this chapter 7, sa Quiper lang naman din siya, pero